Welcome to another edition of the Hard Count. I'm Michael Imam, and I recently had the opportunity to interview Page High School's lineman Aiden Lehner. Lehner is a member of the 2022 class and currently stands at 6 foot 2 inches and 210 pounds. Lehner plays both on the offensive and defensive line and is a very dedicated and hardworking athlete with a great GPA. Lehner has good footwork and great technique on blocks and pass rush. He has a very high football IQ as well. We talk a little about this and more on this episode. All right, everybody, here is Aiden Lehner. Enjoy. So tell me about your high school program and your coaching staff over there. How's it been for you?
Um, yeah, so we've got a head coach. His name is Charles Rathbone. I like him a lot. He's a really good head coach, and I think he's done a very good job keeping this program together. We've got a lot of coaches that have either played D1 ball or played at the NFL level. A couple of the line coaches have played at places like Austin P and other smaller D1 schools like that. And one of our coaches, Carl Klug, who's our defensive line coach, played for the Titans after being drafted from the Hawkeyes. So we've got a pretty good coaching staff to kind of get the players ready to go and help us go out there and get some W's.
Awesome. So yeah, you're a DE and a center. It has you here on Huddle. I've got you on here as a DE, as a defensive end. You're 6'2", 210 pounds. Tell me a little about your training regimen.
So my training regimen, I enjoy going to the weight room a lot. It's one of my places where I can just kind of clear my head and kind of just get some work done. I also sometimes will go out on weekends with Coach Klug, the defensive line coach, and work with him, do some footwork, and just kind of work with the team. And sometimes, like if there's like a rain delay or something like that, I'll meet with the line and just kind of talk about what can we do to make ourselves better and play better as a unit.
Right. And tell me a little about your kind of your relationship with your head coaches. Not your head coaches, but like the coaches on your staff. How is your kind of relationship with them look like right now?
Right now, I'd say it's a really good relationship, actually. A lot of the coaches are on my side, if not all of them. And honestly, I enjoy being coached by them, and I feel like they're preparing me very well to play ball at the next level.
Yeah. There's an old saying with linemen: first to blame, last to fame. I think linemen are really underrated and underappreciated in terms of how much work they put in and what they do. When you look at kind of your experience as a high school athlete, you're in the class of 2022, so this year is going to be your second to last high school year. What are your goals going into this season?
My goals going into the season are kind of just to play very consistent and to just ball out. I mean, just give it my all and try to put as many highlights up on Huddle as I possibly can. Never take plays off and just go 100% all the time and just keep beating at it.
Yeah, very cool. And have you been in contact with any colleges, any coaches that you know at the next level?
Yeah, so Larry Kinbum, coach over at WashU, actually, and talked to me for a couple minutes. And I've had a couple looks from some other schools like MIT. I think Princeton took a couple sniffs. So a little bit, but not an extraordinary amount.
Yeah, those are really good schools for academics. And kind of following up on that, how do you kind of go about balancing sports and academics?
Personally, for me, school comes first before academics. Or sorry, school comes first before athletics. Because I know that, after a certain amount of time, athletics can only get you so far, but academics can take you to the rest of your life. So school will always come first. But once I have that done, it is athletics at that point.
Awesome. And I've heard that you've kind of been like a mentor for some of the younger kids. Tell me a little about how you've kind of acted as kind of a leader with the team, would you say?
Okay, so we actually have a new starter at left guard. His name is Ro Connell. He's actually a freshman this year. He's about 6'3", I'd say probably about 220 pounds. So he's a pretty big kid. And like I said, he's a freshman. I believe he started playing as a seventh grader. So he's not all that experienced when it comes to playing football like as a whole. And so I've kind of just tried to take him under my wing. And, if he has any questions, have him ask me. If he needs to work after practice, kind of teaching him some things like reach blocking and pass pro and stuff like that, I am more than happy to help him. and just kind of be able to stay open to the underclassmen. So that way, after I leave, they will have a lot of the skills that I taught them to not only carry on the legacy of the team, but to also carry with them to possibly play college football.
Awesome, awesome. And one kind of quick question here. Who has had the biggest influence on you as solely as a football player? It could be as a person as well. It could be family, an athlete as a role model that you look up to. Who has kind of influenced your game, would you say, the most?
I would say that it's probably my dad. From the moment that I told him that I wanted to play football back in second grade, he has always been a very influential person in my game. He's always pushed me, even from when I was young up until now, and he probably will for the rest of my life push me to be the best person I can be, but to be also the best at everything I do. So he's always taken the opportunity to sign me up for camps and to get me into gyms, and just always has been a very strong, for lack of better words, a very strong force behind what has turned me into the player that I am today.
Awesome, awesome. And just kind of one quick fun question here. I ask this to everybody as like a tongue-in-cheek, but if your dreams were realized and you were to get drafted, what would be the preferred team you'd want to get drafted by?
Ooh, okay. So that's a hard question for me because I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, so I've always been a Cincinnati fan.
Oh, I was expecting you to say the Titans.
Yeah, I grew up. So I actually grew up in Cincinnati, and I moved to Tennessee when I was about in the second grade. So the year that we moved here is when I started playing football, because football in Ohio is, as like at a youth level, is not as big as it is here. So I don't I that's a very hard question, to be honest with you. I'd probably go with the Seahawks though, just because it's up there in Seattle. I kind of like the climate up there, and they got some pretty sweet uniforms, on my personal opinion.
All right, Aiden, that's awesome. Thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, everyone, that was Aiden Lehner out of Page High School in Franklin, Tennessee. If you'd like to contact Aiden, his Twitter account is @PageFootball55. I'll be sure to put his Huddle link below as well. If you'd like to contact me, please reach out. My Twitter account is @ImamiMichael. My Facebook page is @TheHardCount with Michael Imami. Also, be sure to check out the brand new Instagram page that I got, the @TheHardCount with Michael Imami on there, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, and click on the bell button for alerts on the Hard Count with Michael Imami. Should have plenty more videos coming out soon. Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys, again so much for tuning in and listening. This has been the Hard Count. Do you have what it takes to go D1?